Welcome to Achievements, where we celebrate the inspiring journeys of individuals making a significant impact in their fields. I'm your host, Abdulatif Lanizi, and I'll be taking you through this episode, so stay tuned after this report.
Sport means all forms of physical activity which, through casual or organized participation, aim at expressing or improving physical fitness and mental well-being. For example, forming social relationships or obtaining results in competition at all levels. Surely, sports can help us reach our fitness goals and maintain a healthy weight. Sports also have hidden health benefits such as lowering chances of different diseases in life. Being included in physical activity like sports improves your heart function, reduces the risk of diabetes, lowers tension and stress, and controls blood sugar. Playing sports helps you build muscles and improves your coordination and muscle memory. There are many types of sports such as football, basketball, volleyball, tennis, and much more. In addition, car racing is also considered as a sport. Car racing is a motorsport involving the racing of automobiles for competition. Car racing has existed ever since the invention of the automobiles. Formula One is the most popular racing series in the world currently. Formula One cars are open and known as some of the fastest vehicles in the world. Most people love racing cars because to the adrenaline rush that they get during these types of events. For instance, in Formula One racing, the speed of powerful cars is really attractive. Moreover, sports are divided into many categories, such as individual sports, partner sports, team sports, and extreme sports. Some of the individual sports are golf, horse riding, and judo. Partner sports are considered to diving, tennis, and volleyball, whereas team sports are football, basketball, and handball. Extreme sports are climbing, skateboarding, and water skiing. Hence, running is the most accessible and easiest sport to play. All you need is a good pair of running shoes and you're good to go. In addition, there are no rules in running, but that what makes running so free-form and fun. Running is all about setting goals for yourself and working to achieve those goals.
Welcome back, our viewers. Today we have Ali Al-Adwani, a talented strength and conditioning coach and competitive power lifter from Kuwait. Ali, thank you for being here with us at Achievements. We are so glad to have you here and to know more about your journey.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Of course, Ali, can you tell us how did you discover and when did you discover the love of powerlifting and conditioning?
First of all, I've started lifting for I think 13 years now. And after a while, as a natural athlete, you will hit a plateau basically. And I was looking for a way to continuously make progress without feeling demotivated. And this is when I discovered powerlifting. It's a form of lifting where I can have basically achievements that are measurable with numbers. When it comes to just training your body and physique, you can look in the mirror and it could be all subjective. But
Exactly.
The objective nature of powerlifting is what brought me into it, and I've never looked back since then.
Powerlifting is actually about the number, that's how much weight that you can lift, but going to the gym and about the physique and bodybuilding, it's actually about the physique, and sometimes you have nothing to do. It's all about the genetics, right?
Yes, correct.
So that's one of the reasons that make you also change into powerlifting.
Yes, you can say that.
But it's more fun.
Powerlifting.
Yeah.
Powerlifting also has the genetic factor into it, but at least you have you can work hard and achieve higher numbers.
Yeah.
With basically aesthetics or looking good, you can work hard, but there is only so much you can reach naturally. You know what I mean?
And of course, congratulations on winning the second place here in Kuwait for the powerlifting category championship.
Thank you.
You won the second place. Can you share with us about this experience that you had?
Yes, this was one of my latest competitions. It was, I think, in 2019 before the pandemic hit. I was competing in the 74 kg category, and I've won the second place on that day.
Did you ever thought that you will win or you never win for this category, for this championship exactly?
So going into a competition, you don't know who you are going up against.
Exactly.
And it's all subjective. The person with the basically healthiest body on the day, or the luckiest, or the one who prepared the most, can easily win. Mistakes can happen on competition day. Injuries can happen, so you never expect what could happen. I was expecting to be top 3, and alhamdulillah, I got the second on the day.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But of course, since you coach for martial arts, do you think that your skills at conditioning, powerlifting will help you more to coach even more and better for martial arts?
There is a little bit of a difference between the way I would train myself and my goals and the goals of my athletes. Just to clarify, I don't coach martial arts. I am a strength and conditioning coach, and I coach athletes into becoming better in their sport. So you could be a football player, could be a martial artist, could be a cyclist.
You can do that?
Sorry?
You can do that?
Yes.
And it's different, like for me, if I, let's say I'm a cyclist, or let's say I'm like football player, does my training different from the let's say martial art trainer?
Of course. It all depends on the energy system, something we call the VO2 max, like the way your cardio system is designed.
Exactly.
The way, which muscles you are going to use in your competition, the duration of the competition. So basically, if you're someone who is competing for 3 minutes, you're different from someone who's competing for a few hours, like a marathon runner.
Well, I didn't know that, and I thought that it's all the same. I mean, when you coach for conditioning and powerlifting, I thought it's going to be almost the same training for everyone. But I didn't know that you can train people for football at the same time you train martial arts players. So I didn't know that, but this is actually a good something to know, and thank you for that.
Sure.
But getting back to you, Ali, playing at your journey, powerlifting, competing in competitions, and also coaching can be a little bit challenging sometimes. How do you balance your time between competing and coaching other athletes?
Yes, this is a challenge that most powerlifting coaches face, especially if you are competing and you have an athlete in the same competition. To be a good coach, you have to put your athletes first. So it does affect the way you train, it does affect your mental state for the competition. And in many competitions that they run for, let's say, 2 days, I would be standing on my feet the whole day coaching an athlete, and I would compete the day after. So it does affect. But at the end of the day, this is life. You have to
adjust at it.
Exactly. If you love something, you have to find time for it. You have to put in the sacrifice, and at the end of the day, it's what you have to do.
Exactly. At the end of the day, it is what you have to do, because sometimes I have something that I have to do, must do, but also my trainees need me, and thank you for that. But what do you do in case if there's in case if there's time cutting at the same moment? When you have competition tomorrow, but today you have someone to train. I mean, you have a trainee for today, and tomorrow you have competition. What do you do? Because you have to train, or you have to adjust your body a little bit. You have to focus on yourself at that day. So what do you do exactly?
So it all depends on the coach. And
for you,
for me, I put my athletes first, always. Even if I don't do as well that I would hope to, at least if my athlete break their numbers or have a place win a medal. For me, this is more important than my achievements, to be honest.
Well, that's really a good thing to know. Good to know. And they are luckier trainees that they have coach like you, because most of the coaches that we know, they put themselves at first, and they always do, because this is why they became coach at the first, because they love this thing and they want to get money for it. But thank you, Ali, for having this moral. So Ali, everyone knows that powerlifting sometimes physically become demanding. So how do you ensure the well-being, the safety of your trainees? At the same time, how do you ensure that they have their fully physical potential?
Okay. First of all, we have to distinguish between training for basically enjoyment or health and training to compete. There is a famous coach that said once, if you want to be healthy, don't compete. With competing, you have to push hard in your training.
It's unhealthy?
Sorry?
Sometimes it's unhealthy?
Of course, sometimes it's unhealthy. You will get injured. Like whenever you push your boundaries in order for you to beat that person you're competing against, you will run into problems of injuries, mental challenges, and all those things, because
being nervous, sometimes you don't eat. Also, I think it's also one of the challenges.
Yeah.
Well, so can you tell us what the techniques that you do, what the methods that you actually use to help your trainees to make them overcome the obstacles?
Yeah. So anytime you work with an athlete, you have to understand them, understand their personality, the way they think, the way they react, like really try to motivate them sometimes.
How do you do that?
Be hard on them sometimes. So sometimes you can motivate them by telling them they can do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are mentally not there on the day. So you have to make the hard choice as a coach. Do you push them harder that day, or do you think it's better if you take it easy on that day? So it all depends on how well you know your trainee, how well you know your athletes. You have to build a relationship with them. You have to train them in a way where sometimes it's not optimal, but a little bit enjoyable for them, in order for you to have more adherence from that athlete, where they can show up, have some fun in the session. And sometimes when the competition is coming closer, you have to reduce that fun a little bit and work harder to achieve your goals.
This is how you help them to overcome the obstacles?
So when they have obstacles, depends on the obstacle. So sometimes
not
they
the
could
physical
have
obstacles, let's say
like
most
mental
of it's
obstacles.
mental, yeah.
Okay. For mental obstacles, as I said, you have to know how to motivate your trainee. So for one person, it could be, to be honest, shouting at them.
Shouting at them?
Yes.
Why?
Because they got into their own head and they're panicking. So sometimes it happens, especially during competition. When you think that you're not gonna lift the weight, you already lost the battle. So sometimes you have to talk some sense into them and tell them that they can do it, and try to remind them that nothing's gonna happen.
Also by
You
shouting,
have
yes.
Yeah, exactly. You have spotters, you have safeties. Nothing's gonna happen. You've trained for months for this moment, so you have to remind them that. Sometimes just some athletes, they are just nervous, and you have to calm them down. So it depends on the person and their reaction on the day.
There is something I have to mention. Ali told me about before the interview. It's not a part of the script, but I have to say it. Ali, you didn't participate abroad out of Kuwait, right? But you trainees, they participated. How did you felt when you saw your trainees participated in other abroad Kuwait and winning something, and that everyone must know that only participating is actually an achievement. Only participating is actually a rising contribution on rising our country's name, and all thanks for you and your trainees. But how did you felt when they got abroad Kuwait?
It felt like I was the one who won the medal. So
They won a medal, of course, right?
yeah. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So a few years ago, the first Kuwaiti team that went and participated outside of Kuwait, it was two athletes, Faisal Shemmeri and Badr Al-Ajeri. I coached Badr Al-Ajeri. It was a bench press competition, and he placed third on the Asian level. So, and from the first participation, it was the first medal for Kuwait on the day. So it was a pleasant day for me.
Thank you. Thank you for contributing and rising our country's name, because we need that. We have that thanks to you and thanks to everyone, every Kuwaiti who has achieved something in Kuwait or abroad Kuwait. Getting back to the questions, Ali, you told me that before. You mentioned that powerlifting sometimes helps to release stress, right? How did the powerlifting and conditioning impacted positively on your life, on your personal life?
So, sports in general, depending on the type of sport, they do help with the mental health. They do release some hormones that help you be basically happier, just so that we don't have the viewers get bored of the scientific terms.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah. So basically, if you practice sport in a form or another, you will gain some health benefit mentally, let alone physically. So for me, sometimes it helps for me to have a routine. So if I put myself in a routine where I go and train, look healthy, feel healthy, be basically injury-free, feel that I'm strong, that I'm capable basically to protect my family or protect myself, be able to help someone if they need it somehow. It just boosts your confidence, you know?
So do you recommend that everyone should have like a sports hobby to help more the confidence and to help more mentally to be there more focused?
Absolutely. Like right now, Kuwait is considered to be sadly one of the fattest countries in the world. There's a lot of obesity cases in Kuwait, and a lot of people, they're taking the route of basically doing surgery or bypasses.
Which is the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, some medical cases it's needed, but the majority of people, they can easily fight that. I don't want to say easily, but it's very, you can fight that with sports.
It's part
and
of the
diet.
journey, but getting sweat, getting hard, but it's worth it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I mean, if it was easy, nobody would, everybody would do it. I mean,
Exactly.
it's not easy, but that's the beauty of it. Like if you are working hard towards something and you achieve it, you feel the reward at the end of the day. You
Thank
feel
you.
like, and you get the experience. I know a lot of people who went from obese to being personal trainers even.
MashaAllah. Thank you, Ali, for this wonderful advice. Thank you for this wonderful notice. Of course, we have more and more questions, but for you, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our interview after this report, so stay tuned.
Ali Al-Adwani is a strength and conditioning and a powerlifting coach. He's a competitive powerlifter and has managed to participate in several competitions. Ali has won the second place in lifting 74 kg in the powerlifting category in Kuwait. Ali has also accomplished many achievements throughout his fitness journey. He has managed to win the first place on overall in Kuwait powerlifting championships. Ali has also joined and participated in competitions abroad. He won the bronze medal in the powerlifting bench press championship that was held in Asia. Ali has successfully coached several martial arts athletes into winning competitions in kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Ali has worked almost in all of his free time in order to achieve his goals and dreams. He practiced day and night to improve and prepare himself for future competitions. He believes that powerlifting helps in releasing stress and builds muscles. Ali has also spent his time in training and helping others achieve their goals. He encouraged them to follow their dreams and goals. He continuously supports them and gives them the power they need. Ali, you have certainly reached a far place and we're excited to see your future achievements. Keep up the great work as your hard work is truly appreciated.
Welcome back, our dear viewers, and of course we will continue now our interview with our Ali Al-Adwani, our guest. Of course, Ali, you've been helping a lot of people with your dedication and commitment to the powerlifting and of course to power conditioning. Do you have like any advice and also any memorable moments that you had during your journey with training other people?
If I would have an advice, is basically to pick a sport or a hobby that you like and stick with it. Do it for 10 years because you will not improve and achieve your goals in a few months, and you will basically see the rewards after a few years.
Do you have any memorable moments with one of your trainees that you changed from A to Z differently?
Yes, I do. I actually have a female athlete. The first day she came, she was an obese. She wanted to just be healthy in general. And she started from squatting her body weight for 5 repetitions and sweating, almost fainting, into she's going to compete in her first powerlifting meet in 2 months.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
Wow, that's really deserved when you say, oh wow, because it is something, it is different, because a lot of people go to the gym, they only want the difference for themselves, they want to be healthier. But changing that, you change them mentally, actually, to from focusing to be healthy, to focusing to be really into sports, into competitive sport, which is powerlifting. How did you
Yes.
felt when you achieved that with her?
It's one of the happiest achievements for me, to be honest. So transforming someone's life is very fulfilling. Taking someone from being unhealthy and obese and having bad health markers like blood pressure into someone who is very fit, very healthy, into sports, wants to compete, wants to basically push themselves and challenge themselves and actually love training.
Congratulations, Ali.
Thank
I'm
you.
really happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm actually glad to hear that from you. So, Ali, can you tell us, as a power lifter, you are really dedicated into that sports, but of course, everyone knows that the sports has some setbacks, some challenge. How did you overcome these challenges, especially when you train or before a competition?
So, as I said before in this interview, competing can be unhealthy sometimes, and yes, you do have. You're prone to injuries. You can get hurt. You can have setbacks. So basically, having a good support system, having someone to diagnose what is the issue, trying to fix it, training smart, being mentally strong, and trying to focus on what you can do instead of what you cannot do right now. So basically, let's say the movement of the squat. If you cannot squat, you can try find an alternative to try to keep your muscles and strength while you're trying to rehab your injury at the same time. So just basically trying to stay in a positive mindset.
Thank you. So can you tell us what is your ritual before you start any competitions?
So training normally during the year, I don't want to say it's lazy, but compared to what I would do to a competition, you would call it lazy, just as a comparison. I would usually train normally, try to focus on a goal during the year. Could be losing fat, could be gaining muscles, could be gaining strength. But whenever there's a competition, I would take 2 to 3 months, fixing my diet, fixing my sleep schedule.
Trying to focus on it?
Yeah, trying to really train hard. Basically create a roadmap where I know exactly on each day which weight I need to do, how many repetitions and everything for 3 months, and trying to follow that as close as possible. Of course, you don't control life. Sometimes life happens. You have to be smart also and change accordingly. But basically, you go from a person who is everyday guy to like an actual athlete, and you try to optimize your sleep, your nutrition, your training, your recovery, and all those
This
things.
all you have to do it before you start a competition?
Yes, because in order for you to go to a competition and break your records or try to win, you have to put in the work to reap the rewards at the competition.
Because as everyone knows that powerlifting requires not only a physical strength, requires a mental strength.
Yes.
So exactly, how do you prepare you know, 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the competition starts, before you go into the stage? What do you do?
So
Is there a song that you have to listen? Is there some words you have to listen to before you go in?
So for me personally, right now I don't get really nervous with the competition because I've participated in a lot of competitions. But during my first few competitions, I would be very nervous before my first squat. And once I hit that first squat, and usually there's a good technique where I would put a number that I did in the gym for 2 or 3 times. And I just have to go and do it once. So if I do it once, I will relax, feel good, and then my confidence will start to rise. And then I have 2 more attempts where I can actually put a number and I challenge myself more.
Okay, on the mention of that, Ali, I'm really glad to hear that you have your own ritual, especially in powerlifting. But what I did ask you, I asked you about something, and you answered me with a wider answer, better answer, and then you actually answered what I wanted to ask you about. But now there's actually my question is really something special. Is that tell me or give me an advice to inspire the other athletes who are about to go to a competitions as powerlifters, because personally I know 2 people that they are stuck with the weight that they are lifting. They try to lift more weights, they couldn't. Do you have any advice to inspire them?
Basically work on your weak links. There's a saying that says
how can I discover these weak links?
So if you cannot discover them by yourself as an athlete, my best advice is to hire a coach. Because what can take you a year of trial and error, hiring the right coach for yourself can be very beneficial, where from the first moment he can see the way you lift, he can understand what's going on, and he can try to correct your technique if it's a technique flow, or build you a program that will help you overcome these weak links.
And if the coach didn't help them really well, they can go to Ali Al-Adwani, he will help them. With that, of course, Ali, you helped a lot of people, and you can see the weak links whenever you see your trainees, right?
Yes.
Well, that's a good thing. So Ali, everyone knows that the powerlifting journey here in Kuwait, it has really an exceptional journey. We have too many powerlifters, coaches and trainees and athletes that have been competing here in Kuwait, outside Kuwait, in the Gulf countries. They are contributing a lot on their achievements on rising our country's name. But how do you see your own personal journey contributing in the growth of powerlifting here in Kuwait? Do you think it's helping?
Question.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, this is a very good question.
Of course, thanks to the question, thanks to Hamid Al-Mutta'ab for that really good question. Because when I read it, I say, wow, it's good.
Thank you, Hamid, for the question.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, for me as Ali Al-Adwani, I am a part of the Kuwait Powerlifting Committee. We are responsible for any competition that happens in Kuwait. We are responsible for choosing the team that goes and competes outside of Kuwait. I'm also I'm also the general manager of a powerlifting equipment company that's actually a Kuwaiti company called Nomad Strength. We are aiming...
Nomad?
Sorry?
Nomad?
Nomad Strength, yes.
Okay.
So this...
I thought it's not Kuwaiti.
No, it's Kuwaiti, and the people that are responsible for it, they're 2 Kuwaiti engineers, and they do the designing of the equipment themselves. So one of their goals is basically to not only boost powerlifting in Kuwait, but also all of GCC. So by providing the high quality equipment and by sponsoring almost every competition that happens in the GCC area. So that's also one part of participating for
spreading and rising the awareness about powerlifting here in Kuwait, because a lot of people go into the gym, they try to do something different, but unfortunately they only focus at bodybuilding, and after that, unfortunately, they use steroids, they used illegal supplements to help them, and they don't know that unfortunately it will actually help them in the opposite way. So it will get them more dangerously. So if you go to the gym, you got bored of it, you can try powerlifting, you could try calisthenics, right?
Correct.
And thanks to Ali Adwani and other coaches with for powerlifting and conditioning, they are helping to spread and to raise the awareness more and more about powerlifting. But do you see that as your own journey has helped to grow more about the powerlifting here in Kuwait, right?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And of course, beyond powerlifting, there are more goals you have. There are more sports you want to achieve.
At this point in my life, my goals are not to compete as much for now. I want to focus on my athletes. I want to focus on my health and the way that I train. So as I mentioned before, competing can be a little bit too much on the body and mentally. So right now my goals are to basically run my business and focus on my athletes. And who knows, at some point maybe I will compete again as a masters athlete when I'm over 40 years old.
Well, but is there any type of sports, other sports that you want to try?
I'm very interested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to be honest.
Coach it or try it?
No, try it. Because in order for you to coach in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have to be a black belt or brown belt, which takes years of practicing first.
Of course, Ali, your dedication to the sports, a lot of people have been inspired by you. Can you tell us how do our viewers can know and can follow you and stay updated to your latest journey?
I'm very accessible on Instagram at Strength Coach Ali with number 3 instead of 8.
Okay. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, our episode has come to an end, but do you have one last thing to say, one last advice to our viewers?
Basically, just try to find something that you enjoy that would make you happy and healthy at the same time. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ali, for your sharing your inspiring journey with us today. Your commitment to powerlifting and coaching is truly remarkable, and we wish you continuous success in all your endeavors. To our dear viewers, thank you for joining us on this episode of Achievements. We hope Ali's story has motivated you to embrace your passion and strive for greatness. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories of individuals making positive impact for their respective fields. We will see you tomorrow, and goodbye for now.